Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and we've finally got the Football Manager 26 version 26.1.3 patch rolling out as update 1.008. Right off the bat, you can probably guess that the technical issues have been a big focus for Sports Interactive with this update. The team has been under pressure to stabilize a title that, at launch, had quite a few rough edges, and with this patch, they've gone deep into fixing crashes and weird game behavior that was causing frustration in a lot of saves. The update addresses various crash and stability fixes, including a specific crash that happened in hot seat mode after finishing the first match of the day. So if you've ever had the game just drop on you at that point, that should be gone now. They also fixed a crash on the tactics screen when rapidly switching between in and out of possession, which was something that made tactical tweaks feel like a gamble sometimes. There was even an issue causing a black screen for several seconds when entering the second match in hot seat mode, something that definitely broke immersion for some players, and that has been addressed too. Now let's talk about the heart of Football Manager, the match engine. This update doesn't just slap a patch on a few animations. It makes a weighty number of changes that impact how matches actually play out. First up, the frequency of rain in matches across all leagues has been toned down, which might seem small, but weather can hugely affect how matches flow and the kinds of tactics you deploy. So that change alone could be more impactful than you'd think. They've also implemented defensive improvements against strikerless formations, which is crucial because setups without a traditional striker have been incredibly effective in FM26, sometimes to the point of breaking tactical balance. In play on the pitch, there are tweaks to how AI managers make substitutions, improvements to how players react to shots that hit the post, and better short goal kick decisions from goalkeepers. Wide player pressing logic has been updated so wingers and wide midfielders behave more intelligently, and there's better marking for midfielders during pressing situations, meaning your team isn't just going to leave gaps that easily anymore. Marking of runs made from deep has been improved as well, addressing one of the complaints about how defensive lines were being bypassed too frequently. One really interesting addition is that players now have the ability to control the ball with their head in certain situations to bring it down, something that adds a little extra realism to how aerial play unfolds. They've also made sure wide attacking midfielders and inside forwards hold width better by adjusting their out-of-possession positions, which should help tactics that rely on stretching the play. Another neat quality of life improvement during matches is that you can now select more than one player at the same time to bring up their names with a simple key combo, making in-match adjustments easier. They've fixed some match display issues too, like an instance where VAR captions would sometimes display over a goal replay, and another where league trophy celebrations wouldn't trigger in certain leagues. You also get an assortment of animation fixes, and for those who use the 2D classic view, the quality of the 2D discs has been increased, helping that view feel less outdated than it previously did. Moving on from gameplay, the user interface has seen a haul of improvements that a lot of people have been begging for. One of the biggest things is the return of pass maps. They've been added back into the last match section in the data hub, to the match UI in the formation carousel, and halftime full-time reports, and even as dugout advice. After being missing or underwhelming on launch, this really gives you better tools to understand how your team is building play. There's now icons next to shout instructions in the drop-down menu, and the latest scores and live league table will show up in the in highlights tile you get when you hit the stats button. That's huge, because knowing what else is happening in the league while you're juggling your match adds so much context to decisions on substitutions or tactical tweaks. They've improved the club league history graph, fixed some weird cases where latest scores and dugout events would tell you a goal had happened before it actually did, and made sure your own team is clearly labeled in data hub visuals. Some smaller but very welcome UI fixes include making sure the striker shirt isn't cut off on the tactics tile, player names disappearing properly when subbed off, correct ordering of subs in match screens, visibility of penalties in post-match news, the past winners card showing properly, a formations tile in the past match report card, a scroll bar on tactical styles in training schedules, and a carousel in the medical center tile so injuries at different youth levels are easier to check. Games like FM are about these tiny details adding up, and this patch aggressively addresses dozens of them. On the gameplay systems side, outside of match simulations and UI, they fixed things like B-team staff not joining after being recruited, some transfers not showing up in transfer history, and the staff search showing comparable ratings properly. There was even a rare situation where the board would be delighted about an objective being completed before you took charge at a club, and that awkward moment won't happen anymore. Agents acting illogically, youth players becoming unhappy after a loan, and scouting issues have all been ironed out. There's logic tweaks, so MLS squads picked by the assistant won't breach salary caps. Transfer history now specifies whether appearances were starts or subs, and news articles now reference a player's previous stint at a club if they've been there before, instead of treating them like a brand new signing. Other issues like inaccurate player biographies, setting transfer statuses for non-contract players, intermediary negotiated fees displaying properly, and correct press conference summaries have all been addressed. It even fixes cases where women's football news was misclassified under men's news, and balances like injury numbers in women's leagues or sponsorship deals for NWSL clubs have been properly adjusted.